Hey guys, and welcome back. My name is Interquartile, and this is Probability and Statistics. Today we're going to do a very short video on what is IQR. Now, a very easy concept to understand, a very easy number to find, but unless you've seen it, you wouldn't know it. So join me today as we talk about IQR for Probability and Statistics. If you caught my last video, you'd know that we covered the 5-number summary. If you didn't see that video, then go ahead and click above so that you can see that whole video first. Because if you don't know how to find Q1 and Q3, you're not going to be able to figure out how to find your IQR. So what is your IQR? Well, it stands for your interquartile range, and it's the middle 50% of your data. It's the distance from Q1 to Q3. So how do we go about finding the distance between 2 points? Well, we simply subtract. So in this case, we're going to take Q3 minus Q1, and that's going to give us our IQR. Now, in this example, that would just be 11 minus 9, which is just 2. So the IQR for the data above here is just 2. Now, if they're looking at this graphically, that just means that it's the middle 50% of our graph. So in this case, I have a histogram and I've shaded the middle 50%. So across the bottom, you can see here that your IQR is going from the 9 to the 11. Now, you can see this in tons of other graphs as well. For example, it is seen here for a box and whisker plot. Your IQR is actually the middle 50, which is just the box of your box and whisker. So what's it used for? Well, IQR is used to describe the spread of a graph. Remember, we've already talked about describing a graph of a one variable statistic, and you always got to talk about the shape, center, spread, and unusual features. Well, the spread is always covered by either use of the IQR or standard deviation. But here's the deal. Standard deviation is highly affected by graphs that are skewed left or skewed right or have an outlier. Those types of graphs will mess up your standard deviation because of the computations used to find it, as we'll cover in a later video. But your IQR, the middle 50%, isn't susceptible to outliers. Now, your range would be the full range of the whole graph because it would make your spread look super far apart. Because if I had an outlier that was way far from the rest of the data, my range wouldn't tell me that. It would simply use the minimum and maximum to give me a huge range of all of my data. But the IQR is only the middle 50%, as we had discussed. So when we're looking at the middle 50%, we notice that all of our outliers are left outside and untouched. Yet at the same time, it tells us how clumped up our middle 50% is to our median. So if I'm looking at both the median and the IQR at the same time, I can tell you where the middle is, and I can tell you how far our middle 50% is spread away from that middle. And remember, the second thing that IQR is used for is the outlier formula. Now, right now, all we know is that outliers are data points that are really far away from the rest. But how far is far enough to be an outlier? Well, there is a specific formula that we're going to cover in detail later on. But for right now, just know it's 1.5 times your IQR. And then we use that outcome with our Q1 and Q3 to kind of set off those cutoff points for if you're an outlier or not. So the IQR is extremely important. But here's the good news, it's not hard to find. Guys, that's it. The IQR stands for interquartile range. It's found by doing Q3 minus Q1, and it is physically a representation of the middle 50% of your data. There's no reason to make this harder than it is. IQR is an easy concept that's used for describing your spread and for finding out if an outlier is truly an outlier or not. So thanks for joining me today. Remember, if you learned something new, go ahead and hit the like button below. And if you want to keep getting videos like this, go ahead and smash subscribe as well. Remember, my name is MrCaproni, and this has been Probability and Statistics.